What's up, everybody? I've got a top 5 video of the most likely legendary Pokemon that we will be facing in the no holds barred competition. Now, at number 5, I've got Volcania. Volcania is a Pokemon that I've actually used on plenty of my teams on Showdown. And I have seen Volcania on plenty of other teams as well. But the problem with Volcania is that nobody actually brings it. You'll see it on people's teams, but they won't actually bring it to the battle. And I find myself doing this as well. I don't really bring Volcania, but if you can, like if there is a good opportunity to bring it, Volcania can do some serious damage. Now, the way I'm running it right now is that I'm actually running the Fire Z move on Overheat, so that is going to be a lot of damage. Overheat is already 130 base power, and then let's see, if you run it with the Fire Z move, Overheat turns into Inferno Overdrive and has a power of 195. So let's say if you can find a way to set up a Flame Charge, get Volcania a +1 speed, and then you can go from there. You can Z move, you can Overheat, you can Inferno Overdrive, and then you won't get the special attack dropped from the Overheat since you use a Z move, and in the following turn you can use Overheat again, and then Volcania also gets another move that you will most likely see on it from other players as well. Steam Eruption, a water type attack with 110 base power and has a 30% chance to burn its opponent. So basically those two moves alone make Volcania very, very useful. The only problem is it's just about, really finding the perfect opportunity to use it. I don't really find myself using Volcania that much, but it's a very good Pokemon, especially to scare away anybody who probably has a Mogera on their team. Like, they're not going to want to take an Inferno Overdrive from Volcania. But other than that, Volcania is just at number 5 simply because, nobody actually brings it. Even though they have it on their team, they don't actually use Volcania. And at number 4, we have the annoying Shaman Skyform. Now, Shaman is a grass and flying type, so it is 4 times weak to ice, weak to fire, weak to poison, weak to flying, weak to rock. Now, it does have a very good speed. It has very good speed at 127, and then a special attack of 120, and then defense and special defense are the same with 75. But there is only one reason why this Pokemon is even being used, and that is because of Air Slash. Air Slash, Serene Grace, incredibly annoying, and the sad part is that I have seen, because I also watch battles on Showdown. You know how you can watch battles you can watch other people battling. I have been watching lots of battles from the No Holds Barred, and I want to say, like, in the top 5 players that I have seen, they have a Shaman on their team. And there's only one reason for it, it's for the Air Slashes. Spam the Air Slash. When I was testing out teams, I ended up making a team that had a Skarmory. I wanted a Skarmory to set up rocks and do Whirlwind and just do stuff like that. And I went up against a player with around, I think, like a 1400 rating on Showdown. And Skarmory is bulky. I made Skarmory very bulky, not to mention it resists all flying attacks. And my opponent didn't care. They didn't even bother to switch out the Shaman. They just spammed and spammed and spammed the Air Slash. And of course, with my luck, Skarmory kept flinching and flinching and flinching until eventually the Shaman took it out. I was just like, wow. I even commented on the chat in the show. I was like, wow, are you serious? The person didn't respond, and I'm not surprised. Why? What are they gonna say? They're rocking a Shaman with Air Slash. Like, there's no other strategy. There's no other strategy. When you see a Shaman, you know what they're gonna do. You know what they're gonna use. And the sad part is it's like you really can't do anything about it. It just comes down to, okay, hopefully I don't get flinched and I can do something. And it is just annoying. It's annoying that this is the Pokemon that is on those top the top rated players on Showdown, this Pokemon is on their team. And you know why? There's nothing else to talk about Shaman. There's nothing else for me to say about Shaman. It's one move. Air Slash. That's it. I mean, I have seen people use the, what is it? The, let's see. Got, where is it at? Seed Flare, I think that's what it's called. Should be right here. There it is. And there's that at level 100. Seed Flare. With an 85 accuracy, by the way. 120 base power, but 85 accuracy. Let's see. Seed Flare deals damage and has a 40% chance. Oh, yeah, I thought it was 30. Has a 40% chance of lowering the target's special defense by 2 stages. By 2 stages. And then let's see what else. Oh, when I ran into that one high-rated player that was rocking both Shaman and Jirachi, and I'm pretty sure both of them were just scarfed for flinches. Like, but yeah, this is the only reason why Shaman is at number 4. I refuse to put it any higher, even though it is a very good and annoying Pokemon. Because a lot of those high-rated players are using it, so it's obviously working. But I'm going to keep Shaman in at number 4. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all there is for Shaman. It's just its abilities, Ring Grace, and Air Slash, and that's it. And now at number 3, I've got Zygarde. Now, pretty much these next 3 Pokemon, I'm pretty much going to call like the big 3. I'm going to call them the big 3 because chances are we will be seeing a lot of these, or maybe even all 3 of them on the same team. But right now, number 3, we got Zygarde. Zygarde, a dragon and ground type. Now, 4 times weak to ice, and then weak to fairy and weak to dragon. But Zygarde, you can run so many different things. You can run a Dragon Dance set. You can run the Coil set to increase its attack and physical defense. And it's got solid defenses. And you can even make Zygarde just very bulky with 108 HP, 100 attack, a 121 defense, and 95 special defense, and then 95 speed. Zygarde can just be made incredibly bulky, and then once Zygarde takes enough damage, can go into its complete form when its ability Power Construct activates, going into its complete form where it gets 216 HP. So let's say you're running a rest set, you know, you can just rest up and go back to 108, go back to max HP. I mean, it's just such a bulky Pokemon. Even Ice Beam, depending on what Pokemon you're using with an Ice attack, isn't gonna really bother Zygarde, even though it's 4 times weak to it. Sub, if you want to run the sub set, if you can get up that sub, that's even scarier. And if you don't have anything that can break it or do enough damage to Zygarde, your opponent can then just start setting up Dragon Dances, and that's pretty much a GG. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that changes when it transforms into its complete form. Its HP goes to 216, and everything seems to stay the same. Attacks 100, defense 121, special defense 95, and speed. And its speed actually drops by 10. Its speed drops by 10, going down to 85 rather than 95. But yeah, Zygarde, just a very good Pokemon. If you can just start setting up with it and avoid Marsh Shadows, because you obviously don't want to give Marsh Shadow those stat boosts. But as long as you can avoid that, Zygarde is just a very good Pokemon, and chances are we will be seeing a lot of it. And then, not to mention, it's a move, 1,000 arrows. That move just, it's even though it's only 90 base power compared to Earthquake, it hits anything. It can hit flying type Pokemon, bring them down, and then you can hit them again, and this time I believe it will be super effective. You can even give Zygarde's Glare and paralyze your opponent's Pokemon. I mean, there's just so many different sets that you can run with it. You can give it a Z move for Tectonic Rage. I mean, it just has so many different things that you have to watch out for. The most dangerous set is the sub set. You don't want your opponent to get up sub and then start setting up Dragon Dances on you, or start setting up coils. Because if you have a physical attacker on the field and your opponent's setting up the coil, then that's that's pretty much GG as well. Is it coil? Let me see. Coil. Yeah, here it is. It's a poison. Wow, it's a poison move. Coil raises the user's attack and and accuracy. It also does accuracy, not just attack and defense. Okay, so that's just another thing you're adding into Zygarde. In at number 2, we've got the fighting ghost type Marsh Shadow. This Pokemon is pretty much like on every single team. You're going to see this thing if you're practicing on Showdown. You are going to see this thing on a team. Marsh Shadow. Its base stats for HP is 90, 125 in attack, 80 defense, 90 special attack, 90 special defense, and 125 speed, outspeeding Greninjas. And pretty much the main item you'll most likely see on Marsh Shadow is Focus Sash. And pretty much what just makes Marsh Shadow just such a used Pokemon right now is one move, the Spectral Thief, allowing it to take any stat boost before it attacks. So let's say your opponent's got a Zygarde and they've already set up 2 Dragon Dances and you've got your Marsh Shadow out on the field. The Zygarde's going to outspeed, but because of the Focus Sash, you can live the hit and counterattack with the Spectral Thief. And it's just crazy how that move works. The fact that Marsh Shadow will take the stat boost first and then attack. So it's going to be attacking your Zygarde with a +2 attack, and now it's going to have a +2 speed. And if it doesn't knock out the Zygarde, you can just counter. Well, it's going to outspeed it now, and then Zygarde only gets, I think the only priority move that Zygarde gets is Extreme Speed, so that's, it's a normal attack, so it can't even touch the Marsh Shadow because of its Ghost typing. So then you can just hit it with the Ice Punch, 4 times weak to it, you're at +2, it's going to take it out, and then if your opponent doesn't have any Pokemon that has a priority move, then you can just +2 attack it. Or if they do have a Pokemon priority move, then you can just Shadow Sneak, Technician, Stab, boosted Shadow Sneak +2 attack. Marsh Shadow is just a very, very good Pokemon, and that's pretty much the only reason why it's at number 2 and why it's being used so much. It's because of that move. It pretty much makes your opponent think twice before they want to start setting up, because you just don't want to give Marsh Shadow any kind of stat boosts. And also having close combat. Can you imagine a +2 close combat? Like, that is just something you don't want to mess with. So that's what I just like about Marsh Shadow, is that it's gonna pretty much make people who have like Pokemon that have to set up. Like, I'm running Mega Tyranitar with Dragon Dance. I have to be careful. I can't let Marsh Shadow get a +1 speed and +1 attack. And at number 1, of course, we have the Steel and Fairy type Soul Heart ability Pokemon, Mogera. Mogera just has incredible stats with 80 HP, 95 attack, which you're not going to need, 115 defense, 130 special attack, and 115 special defense. Pretty much what just makes Mogera very, very useful is that if you set up the shift gear, get up the +2 speed. Is it shift gear or gear up? No, it's shift gear, I'm right. Let me see, yeah, shift gear, okay. Shift gear raises the user's attack by 1 stage and speed by 2 stages. Now you could run, Trick Room? But pretty much you're going to be seeing the shift gear Mogera, and with such good natural bulk, Mogera can live a hit, and then you can counter with the shift gear, get the +2 speed, and then go for a Fairy Z move, Twinkle Tackle, which you won't get the -2 and special attacks since it was a Z move, and if you knock out the Pokemon, you'll still get the +1 because of the Soul Heart ability. So now you're at +1, you're at +2 speed. I mean, Mogera is just, it's perfect. Only weak to fire and ground. So as long as you can set up and get the +2 speed and then the +1 special attack, I mean, there's not much else that your opponent can really do. You just have to watch out for fire type Pokemon, because Mogera can't really touch them since fire Pokemon resist steel and Fairy, which are both stabs for Mogera. But ground type Pokemon, like the biggest ground type threat that you'll probably run into is probably Zygarde, but Zygarde gets countered by it, and then Marsh Shadow also gets countered by Mogera since it's weak to Fairy, and it can only hit it with a neutral close combat since it loses the weakness to fighting type because of the fairy typing that it has. So Mogera at number 1 simply because it counters both Marsh Shadow at number 2 and Zygarde at number 3. So Mogera is at number 1. Anyway, guys, this was a short one, but that's pretty much the only reason why I have Mogera at number 1 is because it counters number 2 and number 3. But this is the big 3. Pretty sure that we'll probably see teams that have all 3 of these Pokemon in it. That's going to be very difficult to counter, since each one of them you just have to watch out. You know, Zygarde, you gotta watch out for a bunch of different sets for Zygarde. You gotta watch out for that sub. Mogera, you gotta watch out for that shift gear, and then the Fairy Z move, and then of course you've got Marsh Shadow that you have to watch out for it, and you can't just set up and let that thing steal those stat boosts. So all 3 of these have something that you have to watch out for, and having all 3 of them on the same team is pretty scary. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. This is the top 5 video legendary Pokemon that I am expecting to see in this competition.